Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Sindhu. So this video is going to be a long one, so be mentally prepared. So today I'm talking about PCOS, that is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and these days a lot of women have it. So I also have it, and I'm going to share my experience of how I conceived with PCOS. I know a lot of women out there who are trying to conceive with PCOD, who are frustrated being on too many pregnancy sticks, thinking that they have conceived because they've missed their period, and like getting disappointed because of the negative result. I know that phase is extremely frustrating. I've been there, done that. So I'm sharing my story to give hope to those women who are trying to get pregnant with PCOS. So this is my story, just telling you what I did and sharing my experience. So let's get started. So first I have to give some context about PCOS for people who are watching this who do not have PCOS and just want to know. So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is women have two ovaries from where egg is released either from your left or your right ovary every month, and that's how you get your periods, right? So one of the ovary releases egg. Egg is inside something called follicle. So follicle is like a fluid filled bubble which has egg in it. In case of women without PCOS, every month one follicle becomes big and ruptures and releases egg. So in case of women with PCOS, follicles come to a certain size. They don't become big enough to rupture and release the egg, but they become big to a certain size and they stop, and they become cysts. So that is called polycystic, because there'll be too many follicles which are of a certain size, which are not big enough to release the egg, but which have become a little bigger and which have stayed there. So this happens because of hormonal imbalance. Many hormones that are involved in releasing your egg, FSH, LH. You can do some research about it. So when there is imbalance in these hormones is when PCOS happens. So yeah, coming to my personal story now, I got to know that I have PCOS 2 years after my marriage. Before that, I had some abnormal hair growth here and there, but I thought it was some hormonal changes. I did not have enough knowledge about PCOS. I did not know it was related to my ovary or anything like that. My periods were regular before marriage, and I never worried about my periods, and I had no idea about PCOD. So after my marriage, I started missing my periods, and even then I did not take it so seriously. I was thinking there might be some issue. So this started happening continuously. So after a point, I thought I'll go see a doctor. So a gynecologist, my sister-in-law is a gynecologist, she suggested to go get a scan done. So I went and got a scan done, and then I got to know that I have something called PCOS. So I came back and I did a lot of research about it, and all the videos I watched, all the blogs I read said that it's a lifestyle disorder. So I thought, okay, fine, I am causing this. My lifestyle is something that is causing this problem to me, and I blame myself a lot. So there are a few changes that I did to myself. I made some dietary changes. That is, I gave up sugar. I was eating very little sugar, and I gave up carbs and like junk food. No alcohol. There was no question of drinking alcohol at all. So I had stopped completely, not even a glass of wine. Third, I started to exercise more. I started to work out. So after my marriage, I had quit my job and I was at home. I was trying to do something on my own, and I was trying to take a few exams. So I was not working out a lot. I had a very lazy lifestyle. So I started working out. I started exercising at home. So I also read that stress increases PCOD. So I stopped thinking too much about PCOD itself, and I started reading a lot of positive quotes and meditating a little bit. I was trying to stay very positive. So despite of all this, nothing happened. I joined yoga class because I wanted to help myself physically and mentally. It helps a lot. It helps a great deal, you guys. So I joined yoga, and I started doing yoga regularly. So despite all these things, my periods weren't regular. Some months I used to get it on time, and some months I had to take tablets and induce it because I would have passed the 2-month mark. So yeah, this bothered me a lot. I thought, okay, I am going to go to a doctor like who will give me treatment and who will correct this issue. And I went to a doctor. So first is my doctor asked me for a few blood tests to check my hormone levels. So that came out to be not normal exactly, but she said it was not that big of an issue. So she said she put me on calcium tablet and vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important for your hormone balance as well. So yeah, she put me on 2 tablets and she said, let's see this for a month and then you can come back. So I was taking calcium tablets and I was taking vitamin D tablets, and after a month when I did not get my periods again, I went to the doctor and she gave me a tablet to induce my period, and then she said come on the 2nd and the 3rd day of your period to check. So then she did a test and she checked again, and then she put me on 2 tablets, progesterone and estrogen tablets. So she gave me that and I continued taking that for a month. So that happened, and after a few weeks I was checked again, I was scanned, and she said again the follicles are not big enough to rupture and release the egg. There are multiple follicles and one of them is not maturing. So I was worried. I was like, what are we going to do now? After estrogen and progesterone tablets, my cycle did not correct itself, is when I panicked, is when I thought that this might go into infertility, because a lot of people associate PCOS with infertility, obviously because your periods are not in the right cycle. So I had stressed out. I had created such a big issue in my head already that I was thinking, if I don't have a baby now, I'm never going to have a baby. Maybe this will never get corrected. If I start trying now, maybe I will conceive in the next 4 years. So I wanted to desperately have a baby. I desperately wanted to conceive, and that is when I decided to go ahead and conceive and start trying to have a baby. So just help me somehow do that. So my doctor was very supportive. She said, okay, like, make a proper decision and let me know if you guys actually want to conceive. And we said yes, and she was like, okay, fine, let's that is when she said I have to take some shots, that is injection, to release to make the follicle to a certain size and release the egg. So I took a shot on first week. When I took the shot, I went back in another 3 days and got checked. The follicle hadn't become bigger, or the egg wasn't released. Then next I took a shot again. After 2 weeks I took a shot again. Again they checked the follicle, no variation in the size. And after the second shot I had to come to my native because I had a family function which I couldn't miss at all. So I came to my native, and that is when I had to take my third shot. So I was pretty serious about this, and I went to a doctor here in my native and I took a shot. And then I got a scan done and I sent the scan report. I mailed the scan report to my doctor. She said, nothing has happened, but just keep trying, it might happen, else we still have time, you can try next month as well. Because I'd already told her that after this family function of mine I'm supposed to go on a trip. So she said, okay, just go have fun now, come back and then we'll start your injections again, and then you can start try to conceive. Within this process, so we were trying to conceive, and because the follicle size hadn't become big, we had no hopes of conceiving in that month. So we just let it go and we went on our trip. So we were on a trip, we went on a Leh Ladakh trip for 15 days with all the cousins, and we had a lot of fun, and we came back. So once we came back again, it had been like a month and a half, more than a month and a half since I had my period. So I was again thinking that okay, fine, let me ask my bhabhi or the doctor to give me tablets and get my periods. So there was one thing that kept bothering me, that was the day we left Ladakh, I had some kind of discharge, which I had read about, that we have like such discharges happen when there is implantation. So I hadn't mentioned this to my husband. I had just ignored about this discharge, and But when I decided to take the tablet, I suddenly this discharge thing came into my head, and I ran to the local medical store and got a few pregnancy tests. I got like 3 pregnancy tests without telling my husband. So I got, and 3 days, I think 3 or 4 days after the trip is when I it said that you have to pee, the first pee in the morning is something that is very accurate. So I woke up and I went to the next bathroom, which was not in my room, and went and peed on the stick. So nothing came, and I threw the stick and I went washed my hands and went to the kitchen. I don't know what made me come back to that dustbin again. I came back to the dustbin and I just took the stick. I was very disappointed because the hormonal shots weren't working, the tablets were not working. So God knows, I really can't explain what made me go back to that dustbin again. I just went back to the dustbin and I took the stick and I saw there was a very faint line. So one line is negative, 2 lines is positive usually in all the pregnancy tests. So the second line, there was a second line and it was very faint. But I was wondering if the second line is something that I am seeing because I am staring at the stick for too long. So whenever you stare at something for long, your vision starts like showing things in double, right? So I thought that might be an issue as well, you know, because I've been staring at the stick for so long that I'm seeing 2 lines. So I was like too confused, but I was like, I tried clicking a picture of it and then seeing. I could still see the second line, very faint line, but I could still see it. I was so damn excited. I can't even say, you guys. I was so excited, and I was so excited. I couldn't keep it in. I was thinking the minute I decided to get. So the minute I decided to conceive, I started thinking of how I'll break this news to my husband if I conceive, and how I surprise him, and how I'm gonna, prepare a gift and keep it on the table when he comes from the office and he's gonna see that. I was thinking a lot about these things. So I couldn't keep it in. When I saw those 2 lines, I had to tell it to my husband. I did not know what to do, so I just wrapped the pregnancy test in a paper, and I wrote a few notes, like cute notes like hi, and I have a surprise for you, and things like that, like 5 or 6 notes. And then I had a box from an e-commerce website which had just gotten delivered. So I took out the contents from that box and then put the pregnancy test and the notes inside, and I gift wrapped it. So I had a old gift wrap from some other present, so I just wrapped it and I took it to my husband. And he's somebody who's very good at spoiling surprises. So he held it and he was like, I'm not gonna open it. What is in this? You're doing some kind of prank on me. I was like, no, open it. It's not a prank. It's an advanced birthday gift for the next year. So his birthday had already passed. So I'm saying next year's birthday gift, I'm giving it to you. He was like, no, I'm not gonna open it. So, and then he was like, did you take a pregnancy test? I'm like, please open it. Don't spoil it for me. I have this all on video. I had recorded this, but it was not very clear. And then he started reading the notes, and then he jumped and he came to hug me. Then I was like, no, see the pregnancy test first. He saw the pregnancy test and I'm like, there are 2 lines. I'm like, there are supposed to be 2 lines. Do you see the second line? And he was like, yeah, I see the second line. And I was like, that means you're pregnant. And we hugged. And so this happened. This was my story, you guys. This is how I got pregnant. It happened out of the blue, and a lot of people take a lot of measures once they get pregnant. You're not supposed to travel and things. I went on a 15-day trip on a bike to Leh Ladakh, and I traveled and I came back and I was pregnant already. So this was my story. I got pregnant in just 3 or 4 months of taking the treatment. I know that this is a positive story. Your symptoms can be more annoying. Your symptoms can be more serious. So don't lose heart. Get professional help. Get a doctor to treat you. Do not try to read a lot of blogs and self medicate and just if you're trying to conceive, then it's better to get a professional help. So that's it from my side, you guys. I hope this story gives that encouragement and hope to you for your pregnancy journey. So good luck to you if you're trying to conceive with PCOS. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care. Bye.